Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. It is Thursday morning, and Nana official today, and we've got some breaking news coming in that the fee for Rasmus Højlund is set, and Manchester United are going to be putting in a bid for Rasmus Højlund. Good morning, everyone. I'm 2 minutes late because I was waiting to see if the Nana announcement was going to be at 10 a.m. because, sometimes Man United do that. So I was waiting to see if we're going to get the announcement so we could lead off that. We didn't, but my guess is it's going to be at 12. Let's wait and see, but we'll definitely have that coming for you when it does come out. But we've still got a jam-packed show. And to be honest with you, I'm actually happy that the Inanna announcement wasn't now. I'm happy we get it a little bit later because I've got such a good show and loads of news to get into. And there's loads of stuff to update you guys on. And we can have a little chat about it. We can talk through it. We've got Hojlund. The fee is set. The bid is about to go in. We've got a sale update from Ben Jacobs. You could take that as a bit of a negative, but we're going to bring it to you anyway. Still positive because it looks like the Glazers are going to sell. So we've got that sale update coming. We've got Kobbie Mainoo being part of the first team for next season. We've got Charlie Savage going out and getting a permanent move, moving away from Man United. Squad update details. Chiesa as well from Juventus. It looks like Man United are interested in him. Got loads to get into this Thursday morning. And it's going to be a great day for Man United because Inanna will be official later on. So everyone, hit a like if you're excited for Inanna to come here. I'm excited. It's going to be Inanna time. I'm excited for the pre-season tour. We've had the pictures. Adam and Ryan are just about to go to New York right now. It's going to be great. So thank you everyone for joining us. I think Mark's got some sort of acting gig going on this morning. So it is me and we'll get into the show together. So good morning, everyone. Hotter than the sun. But let's get started on Rasmus Højlund because this is what we're leading off. You can see the thumbnail and I'm so excited because Alfredo has been a really good journalist around the Hojlund story for the whole of this kind of saga. And he's been really good around Inanna as well. And Inanna obviously has happened. And going off the details he gave, he's quite a reliable journalist on these deals at the moment. So I want to bring to you now that Manchester United will make an improved second bid for Rasmus Højlund in the region of 57 to 60 million euros fixed. Atalanta wants 60 million euros plus a further 8 to 10 million euros in add-ons. So if you're looking at this in pounds, everyone, this is around 52 million pounds plus obviously the 8 to 10 million in add-ons. So, that price has come down a lot from what we expected it to be, hasn't it? That price has come down massively. We all thought it was going to be like 85 million at some point. Now it's getting towards 52 million pounds. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm getting happier with the direction that this price is going. I still think it's too much. I might well be proven wrong on that, but we'll have to wait and see what Man United go in. The only thing is he's saying a second bid, and according to Romano, we haven't even put the first official bid in yet. I assume Romano will put that out when that happens, and we know Romano is very close to this deal. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's a really good article, and we're definitely going to get into more of the details on that. But get your comments in now. 51 to 2 million pounds, but it is 57 to 60 million euros fixed up front. That is what they want. It's a lot, especially for a player that's had, this keeps getting talked about, 9 league goals. Very high ceiling, but hasn't even been playing, but has only just started playing full games in professional football. So it's a lot, but it's a risk. And Ten Hag wants to take it, and we'll get into that. Kill Robinson says, Kobbie Mania. Yeah, definitely. Some really exciting news coming out about Kobbie Mania that I'm very happy about. And I did see coming, actually. And a lot of you guys saw it coming as well. Joshua Bowater, Teller's deal falling through. Where have you seen that? Because I've not seen that at all. And don't tell me things if don't tell me things like that because I'll get worried about it. Ray Cal Brown Emery says, excited about the Hojlund news. Me too, because what that game showed us yesterday is, if anything, guys, we need a number 9. Like, we need a striker massively. We need a striker badly. And I don't care if people say, I've said it, he's only scored 9 league goals. Like, maybe he's not going to score 20 goals a season. For sure, if he was in that team yesterday, you've got a goal scorer there that is hungry and can smell like chances in the box, anticipates really well, gets on the end of stuff. We needed someone clinical yesterday to put the ball in the back of the net because we were creating the chances. So Hojlund will definitely be a good addition in that sense. And also, isn't it refreshing, like 20 years old? We're not going for someone who's 33, 34 on some massive wages, and we'll get into his wages, but 20 years old, it's really refreshing what Erik ten Hag's trying to build. I want to get some positivity around Hojlund, especially since, I've seen that he's been in touch with Mark. I'm trying to put the positivity out there. On a serious note, nothing would ever change my opinion, but it's interesting. Mark's definitely kind of going around like talking about that, and I'm like, fair enough, Hojlund's messaged you. Zayn Miasi, I think you must be worried when you play us in 2 days. Timber player of the season in the making. I don't think Rasmus is enough to break down Saliba and Timber. Zayn, I'm not joking. A back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko, it just spells out Hojlund and Rasmus Brace to me. It really does. Timber's not even starting over Ben White yet. I think he will eventually. But, Arteta's trying to copy Pep with this inverted kind of centre-back mixed into full-back role. And I don't think Arsenal will be as good as what people think next year. That's my personal opinion. But thanks for the super chat as always, Zane. And I'll be excited to see how we do against Arsenal, considering our first team players will just be coming back into that game. And let's see if there's any other chats that I'm missing in here. Have I got that one? Eric the Red, what will you say if Onana is going to be worse than De Gea? He's not going to be, so I won't have anything to say. I mean, there is a world where I could be proved wrong on this, and you guys will come for me and be like, Beth, I told you we should have kept De Gea. And if that happened, I'd sit back and say, you know what, guys, you were right, and I should have listened, but that was what I was feeling at the time. But at the moment, I'm backing it. I think Onana's going to transform Man United, and clearly Erik ten Hag thinks that as well because he made that decision. So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think we should put all this pressure on him to get the Golden Glove because it's about the way we play. Do you know what I mean? It's about the way that Erik ten Hag plays football. I've played the game. It's about the way he plays football. So I think he's going to transform us. At the same time, we need a striker. There's no point fixing the goalkeeper issue without getting a striker. These two are the most important issues. Goalkeeper's about to be fixed with Onana, going to be announced official soon. Striker, we saw yesterday. We can play out from the back all we want. We need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. So that's what we need, a striker. And I'm kind of on this Hojlund stuff. But thank you, everyone, for your super chats. Let's get into this Hojlund news a little bit more. And I'll come back to the chat in a second. So this is really exciting stuff coming out as well from this article. For Ten Hag, Hojlund is the perfect profile for his offence. He has the ideal characteristics for the schemes of Manchester United. And above all of it, he's a 2003, born in 2003, and destined to be better and more. All the other solutions, Kolo Muani, are alternatives. The fixed and nailed on target is Rasmus Højlund for Erik ten Hag. So again, Erik ten Hag is the one that's pushing this Højlund deal. We knew it wouldn't be, United scouts, because when Ollie was pushing for Haaland, we got told no. Now when Ten Hag is actually pushing for this young talent, they're actually going to go through with it and do it. And we can moan about the price, but Haaland once upon a time was that price, and Dortmund got him. Well, Dortmund got him in, I think, for about 20 million, even less than that. And look at what he turned out to be. I'm not saying that Hojlund is going to be Haaland, but sometimes in football you have to take these risks, which is why I've sat here and said in the show, I've said it multiple times, I don't think Hojlund is worth £52 million. With 9 goals and only just coming into the first team at Atalanta. I don't think he is. If Ten Hag wants him and that's the price tag and that's who he's pushing for, I completely get behind it, and I think we should do what Ten Hag wants. And if that means paying £52 million, we pay £52 million, because if Ten Hag sees what he obviously if Hojlund turns out to be what Erik ten Hag sees, and he can coach him with the likes of Benny McCarthy and everything like that, he has the ceiling to be absolutely unreal. Do you know what I mean? He has that ceiling to be top draw. I, though, would go ahead and say I wouldn't be surprised if we start this season with Martial and Rashford up front and Hojlund kind of edges into the first team over the course of the season. I think people are getting a little bit carried away of where his level's at now, but the attributes are there. You can't teach someone to be hungry in and around the box. You can't, like, his runs. Obviously, this is me going overboard, but they are a little bit Cavani-esque, the way he runs around the box and kind of anticipates where the ball is falling for. That's a really tough one to teach as well. He's got the striker's instincts. His finishing's good. Left-footed. He's a very good player. So I'm excited. I think we're paying too much, though. I'm not going to lie on that one, to be honest with you. But get in the comments down below what you guys think. But talking about wages, this is where we are saving a little bit of money when it comes to Rasmus Højlund's wages. Rasmus Højlund is currently on £10,000 a week, and it is thought that Manchester United will increase it by 7 or 8 times. He's on 600k a year currently. So again, 20 years old at Atalanta, you would expect that. You would expect him to be on quite a cheap wage. Man United are obviously going to pay a lot more, but still, if we pay, I think it'll be around 80 to 90k a week in wages. Brandon Williams is on 50k a week. Do you know what I mean? So I think this wage is absolutely no problem for us, and especially if he signs like a 5-year deal. Like, how good is that to have a striker who will be probably starting and be Erik ten Hag's number one choice within the next year or so? To be on, 80, 90 grand a week, it's great. It's definitely a big evolvement away from what we did in previous years, like putting Sancho on 350k a week at 20. We are kind of evolving away in that sense, and I think it's a really good wage. Obviously, there's no way that he could kind of ask for that type of money because he's not putting up the same numbers and he's not as established in Europe, but I still think it's a really good wage to kind of start it off on. And Oliver in the comments says, Beth, your thoughts on Kovar, Emran, Hugel, and Hansen Aaron not being allowed to come along to the tournament? I'm a bit gutted, if I'm being honest with you. Kovar, it's because he's going back on loan, I think, to Sparta Prague. Emran, I was gutted he didn't get any time yesterday. Obviously, I spoke to him on the tour. Seems like a really good attitude, really good lad. I thought he looked really talented. That goal he scored was great, so I'm sure he's gutted. He seemed like he was enthusiastic to kind of carry on with the tour. Hugel, I don't think he's got the levels to be top quality. I'm not going to lie to you. Again, not every academy player has to turn into a first teamer. They can go on and we can make money for them the same way that City do. And Hansen Aaron, yeah, I don't think he's ready either. I was surprised, honestly. Forson's been good in the academy, but I don't think he's been great over the last kind of 2 games he's played. The chances he got in the preseason. So I'm surprised he's gone over, the likes of some of the others. But I know in the under 23s, he's been really, really good. So Erik ten Hag's probably going off that and the way he's in training. So it'll be nice to see him kind of get a chance. But we know who the main big hitters are when it turned into the academy right now. The main big hitters that genuinely have a chance to really impress Erik ten Hag and kind of keep going with the first team is obviously Kobbie Mainoo, who we've got some news coming up for you in a second on. Dan Gore impressed a lot of people yesterday. He was probably already going, but if he weren't already, he booked his place on that plane to America yesterday with the way he played. And who else is it? Who else have we got? I think that's about it. Obviously, the goalkeepers. Are they the only 2 kind of younger players that are going? From what I can remember, I'm trying to think. Alvaro Fernandez as well. Alvaro Fernandez is brilliant, above Brandon Williams, which he should be. And again, I know it's hard because Tyrone Malacia, no one's getting above Luke Shaw, but he will start knocking on the door. I think he looks really comfortable at that left-back spot. Akil Aravind says, Hojlund is a raw talent. We need to back him. Absolutely. We need to back him. And that's the one thing I would say, especially if he signs hotter than the sun. We're getting the t-shirts printed hotter than the sun. If he does sign, everyone's got to get behind him. I'm sure we always get behind a new signing. Even you guys. And Mark, you wanted De Gea to stay. You're all going to get behind Onana because you're good fans. And that's what we do on this channel. We get behind our new players. So when Hojlund comes, I think patience is needed with him. Massive patience and a proper backing as well, because 20 years old, he's got a big future ahead of him. And you look at Greenwood's first season at Man United, I know he was playing off the right wing, but he had an incredible season. And I think he only scored 7. That could be corrected on that if anybody knows what it is. So it's about establishing yourself in this first team. But again, I think Mason Greenwood was like 17 at the time, which is mental, really, the talent that we kind of had there with him. Navin says the issue with Hojlund deal is that if we're getting him for 55 to 60 million, expectations will be more to emulate Haaland rather than Julian Alvarez. That's what people's expectations will be. But us as a fan base, because we are intuitive and we know what we're getting with Hojlund, and this is what we speak about on the shows, we know not to expect that. We know where to set our expectations with Hojlund. I set my expectations with Hojlund at 10 goals in a season and 10 goals across the season. That's generally where I expect it to be if he signs. I think Martial will start. Martial will inevitably get injured and then we'll have to use Hojlund. He'll probably get more game time at Man United than he would have got at Atalanta because of our lack of striker options. And, the way the strikers that Atalanta have, they have a good selection. That's why he couldn't get in for a while. So the expectations have to be lower for him, but he's going to be someone that improves very quickly. And he's going to adapt to exactly the way Erik ten Hag wants a striker to play because he's young, he's moldable, he's got a great coaching staff behind him in Benny McCarthy. So something great could honestly be made here with I nearly said Haaland, with Hojlund. Let's see if I've got all of your chats going. Beth, you're hotter than the sun. Well, thank you for that one. I'm not as hotter than the sun as Hojlund is, but thanks for that compliment. I really appreciate that. I think Hojlund starts before Martial. Maybe if Ten Hag kind of cuts off the options that aren't going to be a future for us, that could happen. But some people asking about Amrabat, we'll get on to that definitely in a second. But I want to quickly bring in the sale update that we had from Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs' sale update. You might have saw this. He kind of posted about 3 a.m. last night. I think he's obviously in the US where the time difference is a little bit different. We will start getting them updates as well. Laurie Whitwell posted something about Onana at about 3 a.m. He's obviously in the States, so the time difference is different over there. So we're going to get these updates midway through the night, which is great for our morning shows because we've got more stuff to go off. But the sale update, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, so I'm just going to quickly kind of read it out and go over it a little bit. Not much has changed, if I'm being honest with you. It's just like a clarified update on what's happening. And we are currently trying to get Ben on for an interview today, so stay tuned on that. But the MUFC sale process has not been paused, even though it's true that both Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe feel somewhat in limbo. There is frustration at the lack of communication, but neither group plan to pull out or have been told they are unsuccessful to date. So we had a lot of news kind of circulating over the past week that the Glazers might stay, this sale process might get paused. Ben Jacobs kind of put a halt to that and said it's not being paused right now. The Glazers are still in the process of making their decision. Ratcliffe has publicly confirmed he's still in the process. Sheikh Jassim's 9-2 Foundation feel the ball has been in the Glazers' court for weeks, but they do have everything ready now from a legal and logistical perspective to start the completion process if chosen. So the good news there is if a decision is made, it should happen quite quickly in the process to get as quickly as it can be for a multi-billion-dollar deal. But it should start straight away. We shouldn't have to wait around for legal documents to be made up and everything like that. Both parties seem ready to go. Well, Sheikh Jassim is ready to go and Ratcliffe is ready to go as well, to what we are hearing now from Ben Jacobs. And then we are coming in from following the 9-2 Foundation's fifth improved bid. Sheikh Jassim's perspective has been he will either be successful or there will be a no sale coupled with some form of financing. The 9-2 Foundation essentially view Ratcliffe as a stalking horse and a no sale as more than a rival to their bid. Ratcliffe has been flexible, giving the Glazers a route to go both as a six or stay in some capacity. Following the positive dialogue in May and June, there is yet to make further headway, although Ratcliffe has had direct talks from the Glazers, with the Glazers, and then understand behind the scenes, this is what I've known this information for quite a long time, just being in and around the media and people in this kind of sort of world, and obviously having the pleasure to be around that, being part of the United Stand. But it's understand that the behind the scenes, the Glazers are deliberating over whether the offers are high enough to sell now, especially with the new expanded World Cup and Champions League. They are determined sellers. That is a great line to bring into this. Determined sellers, but only at the right price. And they are also, this is the bit that I kind of know of already, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do, they are notoriously slow decision makers. A lot of people ask, and I tweeted this the other day, why does it take so long for Man United to complete a transfer? Why does it take so long for Onana to be completed? Why does it take so long to get Mount over the line? Why do we take weeks and weeks and weeks to do a transfer? And obviously a lot of the blame goes on Murto and the transfer team, and in some cases that is probably placed correctly. But what we know, well, what I've heard, according to people in and around the media and around Manchester United, that whenever there's a transfer with Manchester United, every single one of the Glazer families has to give it the approval before they move on to the next stage. So if Ten Hag, so for example, we're going for Hojlund, that's probably, you'll say that's been an approved target, hasn't it? Because we're already going for it. Every single stage of this Hojlund deal has to be approved by every one of the Glazers. We bid £52 million for Hojlund. Before we can make that bid, they've got to take it to the Glazers, and every single one of them has to say yes, and they take a while to do that. If that bid gets rejected and we want to bid again, the transfer team will come up with a bid. They have to go back to the Glazers, give it to them, and every single one of them has to approve it. They are very well in on the decision-making process of this club, and this is why it takes ages for Manchester United to do signings. Because other clubs like the Liverpools and the Cities, and we don't know that for sure, I am sure that the people in charge of the transfer kind of team will be given a budget. They'll have an outlined plan before the start of the summer. And of course, they'll kind of talk about and go back and forth on deals and what's happening, and they'll have to get the heads up over the Gvardiol deal. Exactly. They will have talked about that, but it'll be a much smoother process than it is at Manchester United, which is why we take so long to do everything. And this is why this is taking so long. I'm still in the camp that I believe the Glazers will sell. I don't believe this process is going on this long for them to just say, you know what, we're not selling now. I think they want the money. We know how hungry they are for money, and they will make a serious profit. I don't think they'll make any more than what they're about to make now within the next few years for it to be worth them hanging on, especially with the investment needed in the stadium. And the simple fact is the money is gone. It's run out. We've run dry. So they need to make this decision. I think they will choose to sell the club. I just think they're trying to weigh up every option. They'll all be discussing it together. and they will be trying to grate out every single last dime that they can get from this deal. They'll be waiting to see what we do in the transfer window. They'll be waiting to see, how the Champions League fees are structured, how the Club World Cup fees are structured. Everything will be taken into consideration. Everything will be. And they just take so long to make decisions. So obviously that was a great update from Ben and a very long one. But the simple facts are, to break it down for you, from what I've read and in my opinion, from what I've seen, Sheikh Jassim's offer is still on the table. Ratcliffe's offer is still on the table. It's still the last offer that we heard of. The fifth bid from Sheikh Jassim and the option to go in a stake with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Both are ready to move on with this deal. Minority shareholders don't want the Ratcliffe bid because it's going to obstruct kind of their shares within Manchester United. They would rather just have the Sheikh Jassim one, so that could cause a little bit of havoc there. But both have got their bids on the table. Both are still in the race. Also, that's still in the race is minority funding, which the Glazers could go for, and financial kind of investment. Elliott Group, for example, other groups, the Carlyle Group that we don't know about. And what is happening is simply the fact they haven't decided what they're going to do. They are still making this decision. This is why they're going to be still owners of this football club at the start of the season. And who knows when this decision is going to be made. It seems like there's no end to this, but a decision will be made eventually, and I think it will be to sell. But one thing you can take away from that Ben Jacobs update, who is very close to this, one of the closest journalists that there is that they are determined sellers. They are determined sellers, but only at the right price. They do want to sell this football club, but they want to get the right price. They're just being hungry, they're being greedy, and this is where we're at. So I wouldn't get worried that they're going to back out of this deal. I personally am not worried, but, who knows? We're all in the same boat where we don't really know what's going on with this. At Kill Aravind says, I think the Glazers must be saying Anana as striker. I mean, they could have watched that video and probably thought that, knowing them. I was going to say something mean then, but I'll hold myself back from saying it. Shane Costello saying, I love Beth Ratcliffe, enemy of United. If they keep Jim, well, it'll be definitely one that'll raise a few eyebrows if they do go down the Sir Jim route. I won't be a fan of that one, if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, let's move on, because that was a little sale update. That is very similar to what we've heard, but a few little updates that we did have to bring to you on the news show, and just kind of my summary on that. So let's move on to the next bit of news. And this is coming from Mark himself. He's tweeted it, if you haven't seen already, and it is a strong rumour that Fred is going very soon and that United will move for Amrabat, as they are worried about losing him to a rival. That makes me very happy. It makes me smile. It makes me buzzing. Like, Amrabat is a player that I want to get in. And as much as I've loved Fred over the years, it's time to go. It really is time to go. Also, if you've not seen, which you will have done if you've been looking kind of over the Man United tour news, Fred is actually not included to go to the US tour. And the statement that have come out about this from Manchester United is that Fred has personal reasons why he's not there, personal reasons at home, and that he will be there. He will be there in due course when these have been resolved. That translates to me as an excuse. And obviously, I'm really sorry if Fred actually does have personal reasons that why he can't be there. I really am sorry about that. But for me, from what we've had recently, the fact he was in Oslo but wasn't in the squad and sat in the stands, I feel like, and the fact he's been linked so closely to a move, what the rumours are is that it's just kind of a reason as to why he's not going. What actually is happening is that Man United are trying to push this Fred deal now. Fred's trying to weigh up his options because he wants to pick the right club. He wants to play first team football. And I've heard that he actually would like to stay in the Premier League, but Saudi are offering the most money for Fred at the moment. Fulham are interested. Other Premier League clubs have been interested. Galatasaray put in a crazy low offer that Man United would never accept for Fred, which was about 5 to 6 million, which was ridiculous. Fred wants to kind of hold out and see what options he gets. Man United want to push this deal over the line. They want to get the money in for Fred now and want to get him gone, because they want to go and move for Amrabat, because they're worried that Liverpool will move for Amrabat. For example, when Fabinho goes and now Henderson's gone to El Atifak, they're worried that another club's going to come in for Amrabat. He's been linked to Barcelona before. So they want to get this deal done as soon as possible, because it is within our price range. 25 million we can get Amrabat out for, a great fee. And he's the player that Erik ten Hag wants within that price range to come in and be that other midfielder that can play with or instead of Casemiro in certain times. So again, this will be Ten Hag pushing. This is what Ten Hag will be wanting for. If it was down to United, I'm not trying to be like, just from what I've seen in the past, Fred will have left on like deadline day or not even left at all, because we don't move. But Erik ten Hag will be pushing behind the scenes. I want Amrabat. I want Amrabat in. What do we have to do to make this happen? Fred's got to go. We've got to get rid of a midfielder. Who's the most likely midfielder to leave? Fred. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's get it going. And that's exactly how we should be acting. Because if Amrabat does go somewhere else, we'd be absolutely gutted. And so would Erik ten Hag. And then you're looking at another player of that quality, you're going to pay a lot more than 25 million. You're looking at the likes of Lavia who've been linked for. Southampton want 40 to 50 mil. So Amrabat makes perfect sense, which is why Fred is kind of being pushed out right now. And Fred's had some good times at United, but he's not part of Erik ten Hag's plans. It's time to move on. He's only got a year left on his deal, 30, 31, I think he is. I wish him all the best, and I really hope he has success wherever he goes next. He's been a great player. I've got a Fred shirt at home. I love Fred. He's one of my cult favourites, but it's time to move on for the best of Man United. And Amrabat will be just a huge improvement. He has a set position. He can play the CDM role when Casemiro isn't there to a high standard. That's exactly what Man United need. Rizik Mungal says, "Morning, Beth. Hope you're well. Would you think Man United's... Who would you think should be Man United's second striker? Any names come to mind?" Sorry, guys, I've not got my glasses on, so struggling to see. It's not that I can't read. I'm just struggling to see the words. And second striker, honestly, I'd love us to get a second striker, but in my opinion, Hojlund should have been the second striker and our first striker should have been Kane or Osimhen. That's how Man United should have moved this summer. We didn't have the money to, and with, financial fair play and the ownership situation, which is why it's not happened. But as a serious top club, that's how Man United should have gone about this summer. Hojlund looks like he's going to be our first choice. I honestly see our second choice being Rashford and Martial. We're not going to go for anybody else. And we've not got anyone in the academy that's good enough to come up yet. Charlie McNeil isn't right now. Joe Hugel isn't right now. So it'll be either Martial or Rashford when he's injured. And Garnacho will obviously be the left wing kind of option for when Rashford goes up front. Nick P says, personal reasons for Fred doesn't mean it has to be something bad for him personally. He could just be sorting out his move. Exactly. And that's what I think is happening. I just wanted to kind of cover myself just in case, because you never know with these things. Amrabat and Hojlund incoming. Get McTominay out first. Guys, I think McTominay is going to end up staying, if I'm being honest with you. But if we get Amrabat, there's definitely more of a chance for him to move on, and I'd be happy for him to do so. Quick question for you guys, which I really want to ask you, because I've heard this debate in the fan base. Who would you rather keep going into next season? Would you rather keep McTominay or Donny van de Beek? I have an answer on this question, but I want to ask you guys, and I would do a poll right now, but we're not on the usual software, so I can't do it, but I'll get in the chats down below. Who would you rather keep, Donny van de Beek or McTominay? Who's got a better kind of future at Man United? Because I look at it like this. Fred's definitely going, which needs to happen. I think you would all agree, even though we love him. We do, but he has to go. And he wants to go. He wants to play first team minutes. He wants to be important. Amrabat's going to come in, hopefully. I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. We've had some good updates on this. And Amrabat apparently really is keen for the move. I mean, who isn't? Erik ten Hag, Man United going places. Who isn't keen on that move right now? As Onana said himself, it's irresistible. So it looks like Amrabat will happen. So for the DM role, you'll have Casemiro and Amrabat. For the box-to-box role, Amrabat can also play it, and I expect him to in games against like the Cities and the Liverpools. You have Mount, you have Eriksen, you have McTominay and Donny right now, if they stay. And then obviously for the cam role, you have Donny, you have Eriksen, you have Bruno, you have Mount. They can kind of all interchange within the box-to-box role. But I think if we get Amrabat in, you can still afford to let go of either Donny or McTominay, because Kobbie Mainoo is going to be coming into the fold, and Kobbie Mainoo is going to be wanting to get in game time as well. So I'd rather him get game time than someone who hasn't really got a future at Man United. So it'd be interesting to see what you guys say. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying keep Donny. I want to see why you guys would want Donny over McTominay. Because realistically, McTominay's done more in a Manchester United shirt than what Donny has. And I love Donny van de Beek. He seems like an absolutely unreal person. He seems so humble, so lovely. I'm so happy for him that he got his goal yesterday. But he's not done anything in a Man United shirt. I know he's not been given that much opportunity. And McTominay, look, I don't think he's good enough at all. But McTominay has the height. He has the physicality. He's like useful off a set piece. He can score a goal. Donny, for me, is a little bit too lightweight. He's much more technically gifted than McTominay. His passing's much better. He works better in a system. He's really good at them late runs into the box. They've both got completely different attributes. Donny's definitely more advanced than McTominay is. But I think McTominay probably offers more within the Premier League right now. If we were a fully well-oiled machine, like the likes of Man City are, I'd say Donny. I'd say keep Donny. He's creative, his passing's good, and he reads between the lines. He can make line-breaking passes. If we were fully well-oiled and playing the possession-based football that Ten Hag wants, I would say keep Donny. But at this moment in time where sometimes we do struggle a little bit for physicality and we get dominated in aerially sometimes, McTominay's probably the kind of more the option that I'd probably lean towards. But to be honest, I think both of them should be gone. To be honest with you, none of them are good enough. So let's move off that topic and move on to Kobbie Mainoo, a player that definitely is looking like he's going to be good enough. And I'm super excited about going into next season. We called it at the end of last season. We said when Erik ten Hag, had his arm around Kobbie in the Carabao Cup and he was talking to him like, this will be you one day. You can see that Kobbie Mainoo is really liked by Erik ten Hag. I watched a lot of Kobbie Mainoo in the under-23s last year. So everyone who says, Beth, you've never even watched him. I've got the evidence. I've been to a lot of the games. I did watch him. And he was someone that really, really stood out to me and to you guys. A lot of you guys know way more about the academy and stuff than I do. A lot of you have really good insight into that kind of area. And Kobbie Mainoo's been one that stood out. But the news coming in, and it's coming in from Stephen Railston for the MEN, Kobbie Mainoo has been informed that will be part of Erik ten Hag's first team squad this season instead of being sent on loan. Can we get a round of applause for that part of information? This only deserves my round of applause, by the way, if he actually gets minutes and gets time and I'm not saying he has to be playing every game. Of course, he's not going to do that. But like the same way Garnacho did last year, he got slowly integrated. Garnacho only really came into the fold second half of the season, towards when it was a few weeks before Ronaldo left, wasn't it? So it was around October time he kind of only really came into the equation. And he slowly gained up more minutes because he proved himself to Erik ten Hag. That's the way Kobbie should be going. Cup games, minutes towards the end of matches. If we're winning a game comfortably and it gets to the 70th minute, that's when he should be coming on and getting some game time. But I really, really like him. And I think he's going to be a fan favourite as well. He's got such good technical skill. His tackling anticipation is great. He's so cool on the ball. I really do like him. Ildi Moreno says, hi Beth, do you think with Diallo and Garnacho playing so well, should Sancho be worried or even think about a move this season? I think he should be worried. I really think he should be worried. Garnacho was out playing him the end of last season, and for me, in pre-season, Ahmad's been the better player. I think Sancho's not been bad. I think Sancho was decent, actually quite decent yesterday. But Sancho should be outshining these players. But you could say the same for Anthony. He didn't really play that well yesterday. But then again, it was his first kind of incorporation back in. But this is a good thing about having great talented wingers like the likes of Ahmad, Palestri, Garnacho. First team players like Sancho and Anthony and even Rashford will always be on their toes. They have to be on their toes. Even Rashford has to be on his toes with Garnacho behind him because he's playing last season. People calling for Garnacho to start. So that's what you want. You want competition for places. Do you think it's City, Foden works up and he's like, I'm going to play today? No, because he gets benched a lot of the time because there's such good competition there. And that's exactly what we need. We need everyone to go on the pitch and want to prove to the manager that they are going to play because they're the best. And if you have someone like Garnacho coming off the bench when you come off, like Sancho does, and he comes on and he's lighting it up and the crowd are loving it and Ten Hag's loving it, you have to up your game. So competition is exactly what is needed at this club. Rizik Mungal, since Saudi's raiding Europe, United should have held on to Ronaldo until now and sold him for a fortune. And I think, honestly, McTominay, Fred and Donny should go to fund Lavia and Kudos. Really like the look of Kudos. We won't get him, but I really like the look of him. Lavia, again, another one. If I had to pick between Amrabat and Lavia, I'd probably go towards Lavia. I think Amrabat's the better player now, but for the future. But I still really like Amrabat. Both are great shouts. And so thanks for that super chat. And, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. Ronaldo just ended poorly and it's done now. So I'm not going to look back and think about what fee we could have got for him. It is what it is at the end of the day. I want to move on to now and what's going on with this season, if I'm being honest with you. Garnacho is a future starter. Exactly. Do you remember those times, under Oli, where Rashford would drop horrible performances and just keep playing full 90s every time? And Rashford was brilliant last season, and I think he should be the nailed-on starter. Do not get me wrong. I think he's great, and I'm so happy he's signed that new deal. But there shouldn't be a thing at this club where you get comfortable. Garnacho playing well, it keeps Rashford on his toes, and that's the most important thing. Jake Norton, and it will get the best out of Rashford as well, because Rashford will always kind of feel that he needs to perform, which he has been doing under Erik ten Hag, a great coach. Jake Norton says McSideways offers absolutely nothing on the pitch. Donny hasn't been given anywhere near the opportunities McTominay has. Next phase of the rebuild, need players who can look after the ball. Facts there that we need players that can look after the ball, and McTominay struggles at that. Donny can look after the ball well. You know what? You kind of sway my opinion here. This is good. This is the debate that we want. Like, I did say probably I'd go with McTominay to stay. I think let's be clear. I think they both should go. We should be paving the way for the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and, Amrabat and better midfielders coming in. I think both their times are up at Manchester United. But, I said if I had to keep one, I probably would go with McTominay. But you sway my mind because I do think next season we're going to be playing much better possession-based football. The only thing that puts me off about Donny is the fact he is lightweight. But, there might be still a chance there for him. I mean, Ricky was messaging me yesterday, singing his praises. He absolutely loves the guy, but he also loves McTominay. Ricky's starting midfield three would be McTominay, Donny, and who else would he go for? Casemiro as well, because he's defensive. Garnacho is a better winger than Rashford. It's all about opinions. Much better at taking players on and creating space for attacking players. He draws defenders in, goes round them. I don't think Garnacho is a better winger than Rashford right now. I think he had a very good end to last season, but it's all about this season for Garnacho. And I'm excited for him. He's definitely a crowd pleaser. But let's get on to the next bit of news. Really interesting stuff. But everyone hit a like on the video if you're excited for Kobbie Mainoo. How many minutes as well? Get in the chat. How many minutes do you think Kobbie Mainoo will play next season? Or how will he get game time? Or will he just be on the bench? I think he will get some game time. I think he's the next one to come through. United always should have, and I say this every year they should always have one player from the academy that's coming through. Last year it's Garnacho. This year it should be Kobbie, in my opinion. But you never know, other players could impress in the preseason tour as well. But he's coming from Corriere dello Sports that Man United have been linked to Chiesa for 40 million. Newcastle, Chelsea and Liverpool as well. Manchester United are interested in signing the Juventus winger Federico Chiesa. And it's 50 to 60 million euros they want, which is 45 to 55 million pounds. Again, not the best source. I'm not going to lie, but it is the news. So Chiesa, well then, I honestly think this is a nothing story. I think Chiesa is a very good player, but I do see him, to be honest, why would Newcastle go for him? Newcastle have, they've got Gordon now, they've got Almiron. Who else are they going for? They've just bought Harvey Barnes, which was an interesting one. Chiesa's better than all of them, obviously. They've got Isaac, because I think Isaac will still start on the wing, and Callum Wilson will start up front. So it's an interesting one that they'd be linked to him. Liverpool again as well. They've got Diaz, they've got Jota, they've got Gakpo, they've got Salah. They're stats. We're stats when it comes to wingers. So I really don't see us going in for Chiesa at all, if I'm being honest with you. But it is the story that's coming out. To be honest with you, Chiesa probably wants to move. And that's where this story's come in. When a player wants to move, it's very easy to link yourself to the Premier League, especially Man United, to get the name out there and get kind of the ball rolling. Chiesa probably wants to move. Juventus probably want to sell him. So this is why this has come out. I really don't see us going for Chiesa. Although I would kind of put into consideration, he obviously can play multiple positions and he's a very good player. He's injury prone though, and I don't want someone who's injury prone. But I remember last year, I think it was around the January transfer window, we were linked to a lot of left wingers, and it made me question whether Rashford would be playing up front and would be getting in a winger to kind of replace missing Rashford on the left. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't, because we actually did speak to Darren Fletcher. I've dropped this name. I've dropped this story about 10 times now. I actually did speak to Darren Fletcher on the plane, everyone, if you didn't know already. I really need to stop dropping this story, but we did. And he said Rashford's seen more as a left winger than as a forward, and that Man United want a striker. So that was kind of from the horse's mouth himself. So I kind of do think that Rashford is going to be predominantly be on the left, and we are going to get a striker in. And I think this Chiesa story is sort of nothing news, but I thought I'd bring it up because it is the news show. Michael for €2. How many people, can I just say, how many people here would actually want Chiesa in for 40 million? Like, how many people? I would say no, to be honest with you. I would. I think he's a good, and that's not me saying I don't think he's a good player, because I really do like him. I think he is a good player. But I just don't think it's a route we need to go down. It's like Kudos. I think Kudos is a great player. He can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, he could even play as a false 9. I really don't like the false 9 position. A great player. João Felix, brilliant player. Can play as a 10, again, can play on the wing, can play different positions. But it's not what Man United need. What Man United need this summer, and what I think our transfer window will be, is we needed a keeper. Anana is about to be official. I can't wait for that one. We needed a midfielder. We got Mason Mount. We need a striker desperately. Looks like we're going to get Hojlund over the line. We need another midfielder in case Casemiro isn't, fit and ready to go. We're getting Amrabat in. They are the main things that Man United need right now. And to be honest, if I had to go for another one after that, I'd bring in a centre-back. So I think this Chiesa thing is really far down the list. And I want players like Ahmad to get a chance, Pelestri to get a chance. We've got some good wingers there that really they need to improve, but we've got the talent there in them departments, in my opinion. But let's wait and see. But yeah, looking at our transfer window, you look at it from last season, where would you say, looking at our first team next season, where would you say our weaknesses are? A lot of you guys wouldn't say the goalkeeper. Then a lot of people would say the goalkeeper. Loads of people said Eriksen. Can't play 3 games a week. We've gone and got Mount. Striker, that's an obvious one. Hopefully we're going to get Hojlund over the line. Striker was the massive, massive problem last season. And then you look around, you think, what was next? Casemiro. We need someone who can play. When Casemiro isn't there, we drop off massively. The midfield isn't the same. And then you'd look to maybe the centre-backs when Martinez and Varane were injured. Could we have had an improvement there? So that's kind of the order it goes in for me. And I think that's why Wan-Bissaka's still around, and because we need to prioritise, and that's exactly what Ten Hag has done. And I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm happy Wan-Bissaka's here, just to make that clear. I really do like him. I think he's going to have a good season. Someone said, why not João Felix? You guys know, in January, I was pushing for João Felix like there was no tomorrow. I wanted João Felix. I really wanted him. Right now, I think it would be pointless to spend that money on him because I don't think we need that position. I think he's a great player, but we need an actual number 9, if you get what I mean. But to finish off the show, we've got Charlie Savage to Reading could be happening. Robbie Savage's son, Charlie, who was captain for the second half against Oslo, but isn't going on the pre-season tour. He was on it last year. That, again, is a big indicator that this move is probably going to happen. Manchester United player Charlie Savage is in talks over a permanent move to Reading, says The Sun. And then lastly, I kind of wanted to get in there is Anana official. Today, everyone. It is going to happen. Well, we don't know 100%, but we can very much infer that Anana official is going to happen today. Everyone get in the chat what time you're expecting Anana official to be. I'm going with 12 o'clock. I think Man United are going to post it at 12. I think that's when we'll get the announcement, which I'm so excited for. But let's have a little time roulette on when do you think it's going to be. And whoever gets it right, if I can remember you, you'll get something. I'll think of a prize that we can have. But everyone get in the comments when you think it's going to be. Also, are you happy that Charlie Savage is going to Reading? I do. I don't think he's good enough. Lovely guy. Lovely guy. I think, again, wish him well wherever he goes. But he probably is someone that needs to move to Reading and can start building his career from there. I don't think he's good enough to play for Man United's first team. And, at that age, you want to be playing first team football. So, again, if we can get a good fee in for Charlie Savage, that'd be great for us. A lot of people getting in 1, 12, 5:30, 1, 3 p.m, 5 p.m, 2 p.m. I'm getting every time under the sun. Do you know what? Even if you are right, how do I know what time zone do you mean? We're talking about UK time here. UK time. I'm going with 12. I think Mark said he thinks 11 or 12, but I'm going to go with 12. But yeah, a little bit of an update from Laurie is that Andre Onana has signed his Manchester United contract after the club worked through the visa process. And now Onana is booked to fly to New York today and to join his new Manchester United teammates. Will he play in the game against Arsenal on Saturday is the question. I don't know if he will play straight away. I want him to. I really want him to. If he's ready to, why not? It's not as if, when you're a keeper, it's not as if, an outfield player, it really takes a lot more time to get used to it. It just depends. If Erik ten Hag can kind of coach the team the way Onana is going to play in time for that game. But again, this is what friendlies are for. They're for experiments in pre-season. They're for getting the squad to get that cohesiveness, get that chemistry, play the way that you've been practicing, iron out the issues, understand what works, play the way that Ten Hag's been coaching. So this is where we're at. 1:30 today. Some people are saying tomorrow. I really hope it is today. I don't understand why they would delay it because they've clearly got everything ready if he's flying. They've clearly filmed the TikToks at Carrington yesterday. They've clearly filmed the announcement if he's flying today. So I think they've got everything done and filmed. So they need to get the editing team on it and get it out there, get the graphics people on it. But I hope it is coming today. And someone said, Beth, anything on Kovar, please? You reminded me. Kovar is looking likely to head back out on loan to Sparta Prague again. this season, which is why he's not part of the squad for the US tour, which I was really disappointed in because I thought he was a massive standout in the first 2 preseason games. But again, a player of his quality at that age should be playing first team football. He won the Czech League last year, playing as a first team keeper. He would be much better served out on loan there than being sat on the bench all year for Manchester United. So I'm happy for him, deserves the game time. Gutted a little bit from United perspective because I think he's really good, but it's good for him to go and get that game time and experience. And he's definitely a goalkeeper. You know, I'm critical of my goalkeepers, everyone. He's definitely a goalkeeper that I really, really do see a good future for. I really like him. But casual pro gamer, stop overhyping Onana. He's going to be another Bartes, unorthodox keeper. Can we please be positive around our new signings, please? You might well be proved right. You could be. He could be another Bartes. That could happen. But my point of view is, I agree with Mark in the sense he comes in and he becomes one of the top 3 keepers in the league automatically. I think he's that good. And I think because he's worked with Ten Hag before, you have, you know, if it was like a keeper that Ten Hag had never worked with, I'd have more of a doubt over it. But because Ten Hag knows the keeper inside out, they've worked together, I have no doubt this is going to work out. I think he's going to be brilliant. I really do. I think he's going to be absolutely insane. And I can't wait for it. So everyone get behind Onana. But everyone, thank you so much for kind of being in the chat with me today, getting your super chats in. I really, really do appreciate it. And we've had a good discussion. It's like talking with my mates. I love it. I absolutely love it. The 10 a.m. show, we've not done a one in a while, so it's nice to speak to you guys. But to round up the news, we have Hojlund bid going to go in £52 million. What Atalanta won is 60 million euros upfront fee with 7 to 8 million euros in add-ons, which works out to be around 52 million pounds with the add-ons then going on after that. What do you make of that price? Still think it's too much, but it's a deal that Ten Hag wants to do. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's try and get him in as quickly as possible. Again, I think this is going to be another saga, but I really do want this to happen as soon as we can. We need a striker in. Sale update, still determined sellers, the Glazers. They're just taking their time. Kobbie Mainoo, not going on loan, part of the first team squad. Chiesa linked to us. I think that's a nothing story, if I'm being honest. Charlie Savage looks like he's going. Kovar to Sparta Prague on loan. And a Nana announcement is imminent. Official announcement imminent. Get excited. I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to have my notifications on and waiting all day. But thank you, everyone, for being involved in the show for me. Hit a like on the video if you're excited for Onana to come to Manchester United. Hit a like if you're excited to get Hojlund in and you're excited for the first bid to go in. We'll see you on the next one, everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day.